You wake up, grab your phone, and open whichever app you want. You choose what to wear, what to eat, what to watch. Everything feels like it's under your control. But what if this freedom is just a beautifully crafted illusion? We're surrounded by options, but we rarely stop to ask who put those options there, who decided these would be the choices, and most importantly, who's profiting from them. Deep down, you're not choosing between freedom and control. You're just spinning the wheel of a game that was programmed long before you entered it. And the people who designed it, they're getting richer while you believe you're living free. In the US, 62% of people believe the country has lost power by depending too much on other nations. This data from Pew Research Center reveals a growing fear that economic freedom has made us fragile. And in this environment, a familiar figure rises, Donald Trump, with a brutal, simple proposal. Let's take back control, shut the doors, take care of ourselves. Is he wrong, or just saying what many silently think? Because when everything seems to collapse, chaos disguises itself as freedom, and order starts to look like salvation. But what if the true cost of freedom is collapse itself? When Trump talks about tariffs and closing borders, many people roll their eyes. But what he's proposing isn't new. It's the old instinct of protecting our own in a world that feels like it's falling apart. In 2025, Trump proposed tariffs of up to 60% on Chinese products. His argument: bring jobs back, strengthen American industry, and reduce foreign dependence. Extreme? Maybe. But is it really that irrational? Behind these moves lies an old idea: economic nationalism, the belief that a country should grow from within, producing, consuming, and relying on its own strength, without depending on fragile global supply chains that could break at any moment. After the pandemic and ongoing geopolitical tensions, that idea gained traction. Companies began rethinking their factories, and the US started looking to Vietnam as a strategic replacement for China. But there's a price. Prices rise, products take longer, consumer freedom shrinks, and here's the question no one likes to ask: is it worth sacrificing comfort to regain control? Trump says yes, and he's not alone. Millions of people feel overwhelmed by a world that's too open, too fast, too unstable. In that context, order feels like a lifeline. But is this pursuit of order actually just fear of chaos? Nietzsche once said, "You must have chaos within you to give birth to a dancing star." But chaos is terrifying, and when it shows up, people run to whoever promises to restore order. History has always followed this pattern. When everything seems to fall apart, leaders rise offering protection, peace, stability, control, and in return, they ask for your freedom. Thomas Hobbes, a 17th century philosopher, believed that life without authority would be solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. To him, only a strong central power could hold chaos back, even if that meant giving up personal autonomy. In many ways, Trump follows that logic. He sees global disorder as a threat to sovereignty. And so he proposes the opposite of economic freedom: centralized control. But is chaos always the enemy? Or is it just a natural part of transformation? In nature, destruction always comes before renewal. Systems collapse to make room for something new. The problem is, in the middle of collapse, everything looks like it's ending, including our certainty. That's when order becomes seductive, even if it comes with limitations, even if it costs a lot. That's when leaders like Trump grow stronger. They don't offer complex answers. They offer structure, solid ground, even if that ground has chains hidden beneath it. So is absolute freedom what brings chaos? Or is it our fear of chaos that truly traps us? Talking about freedom sounds beautiful, but living it is a whole different story. Because true freedom demands something most people aren't willing to give: responsibility. To be free is to walk without a map, to make decisions without guarantees, to accept that the blame and the reward are both yours. And for many, that's unbearable. Existentialist philosophy explores this deeply. Kierkegaard said that freedom causes anxiety because it forces us to face the abyss of possibility, and the abyss doesn't offer instructions. That's why people search for safety, rules, boundaries, leaders, even if that means giving up autonomy, even if it makes the world smaller but easier to handle. A 2023 study from the University of Michigan revealed something surprising. Most people prefer rigid routines over too many open choices. Too much freedom leads to paralysis, and well-packaged control feels like comfort. Trump knows this. He offers clear lines in a blurry world, and for many, that feels like relief. Like someone saying, "Don't worry, I'll handle it for you." But be careful with those who promise peace in exchange for your surrender. Because sometimes, what looks like protection is just a prison without bars. So the real question is simple. Do we actually want to be free, or just feel like we are? You think you chose that phone, those headphones, that brand of clothing, but what if all of those choices were just different versions of the same thing? We live in a world full of shelves, endless options, but every item on those shelves was placed there by someone. You don't decide what exists. You only choose from what you're allowed to see. Globalization promised us freedom through consumption, but what it delivered was dependency on distant factories, rare materials, and decisions made by people you'll never meet. In 2024, Vietnam became the second largest exporter of electronics to the US. Apple, Nvidia, and Samsung moved operations there from China. Did you notice? Probably not, because the illusion remains untouched. That illusion is the key. You believe you're in control, but the system that feeds you options is the one actually pulling the strings. And whoever controls production controls the narrative. And whoever controls the narrative shapes your desire. That's the trick. You think you're steering the wheel, but the wheel in your hands isn't connected to anything. Maybe Trump, by trying to close the system, is revealing that truth. Maybe he's saying it's time Americans stop pretending they're free and face what autonomy really costs. Every strong structure demands a sacrifice. Sometimes that sacrifice is you. Seeking order seems reasonable in chaotic times, but too much order becomes suffocating. It kills spontaneity, creativity, and the space to be truly human. It turns life into a rule book. When a government says it's going to restore order, you should ask what it plans to remove. Because often, what gets swept away is your voice. Trump doesn't hide his agenda. Project 2025 is a proposed overhaul of the US federal government. More centralized power, less independence for agencies, more control, less questioning. It's the old exchange: stability for submission, protection for silence, order for conformity. But this isn't just political, it's existential, because when you give up your freedom for the sake of feeling safe, you start to disappear piece by piece. Stoic philosophy reminds us your inner freedom is the only one no one can take away, but even that can fade if you forget it's there. So yes, order might protect, but it might also imprison. And the scariest kind of control is the one you willingly accept. Maybe Trump is right. Maybe the world does need more order, more limits, more structure. But the real question isn't about him, it's about you. Are you ready for the chaos that comes with freedom? Or do you prefer the comfort that comes with control? Because chaos, for all its terror, is also fertile. It's in the unknown that new thoughts are born. New paths, and the chance to live a life that no one scripted for you. Nietzsche said it best: you need chaos within you to give birth to a dancing star. So maybe chaos isn't the enemy. Maybe it's the test, the proof that you're alive, thinking, feeling, choosing, truly choosing. In the end, real freedom was never about safety. It was always about courage.